The realm of hip hop, man. We got a few topics over this last 20 minutes.
Okay.
Let's start off. We didn't get a chance to talk about this last time, but let's start off with them receipts. Let me paint the picture. So, rap mogul Puff Daddy went to the Breakfast Club, did a hell of an interview, and a part of the interview, I forget if it was midway through or towards the end, they started asking him about the artist, the disgruntled artist, that reputation. So Puff felt like, you know what? I sat back all these years. I allowed people, this is from his perspective. I allowed people to tarnish my name. Now it's time for me to defend myself. And he pretty much said, yo, look, I'm open. Any artist who feel like they was wrong, I'm open. And this is coming in context of him going back and forth with Mase. Because Mase said some things and so forth. So before I get into it, you got anything to say?
Yeah, and there's artists like Black Rob, and there's artists like Biggie that are no longer here.
To defend themselves.
Because Gene Dill already exposed that. So if he wants to be open, you can open your behind over there to Gene Dill, and you can go say whatever you need to say. You didn't bring him up.
See that's very interesting because I was just gonna go there. Gene Dill, like you can ignore him, because people say, "Oh, just ignore him; they'll go away." His story has been consistent for about 3 years straight.
Facts.
Longer, because he was talking this before the internet.
Right.
I'm just talking about him being with his podcast, his platform, and him interviewing with multiple other bigger platforms. His story hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying people can't lie, but it's been the most consistent story on him working with Puff behind the scenes.
His story is for everything that was involved. And Wolf's not here neither, by the way. Just want to say that. So, I mean, he's saying like, yo, Mase owes him $3, and he could be right. Mase owes him $3 million. He could be right.
That part.
He could be right. But what about Big? We all know you took him out to Cali knowing that was at the highlight. Like everything was still kind of hot. But when you went around to your tour, why you ain't answer about why you skipped California? So since he wants to be open, if he ever sees us, I want him to answer his questions. How come you ain't stop on your tour? How come you ain't stopping Cali? How come what happened to all the other artists?
Because like he's, to me,
and Gene talked, I'm sorry to cut you off. Gene talked about it. Like Big didn't take them over to Bad Boy. Junior Mafia was never on Bad Boy. Junior Mafia used to help promote Bad Boy, and I never saw them over there. Puff never signed him. You don't think that's ironic? Big was my man, but he ain't never get over there with the Junior Mafia. You can never get them. How many stories have you heard of Puff doing people dirty? It's nothing new. You might hear something of Dame. I hear with him and choking all of them, but a lot of the artists all say the same thing. When it was Dame, he went to war for us, and he had our back. I don't like the way he did things, but they never said he did him dirty. With Puff, most of the artists that use it, Black Rob got done dirty. He helped and repped that. I'm not going to talk about, remember there was, I don't want to talk about the situation because it'll expose somebody. Oh, no. Okay. We were doing something for our brand. Somebody was there.
Brooklyn? Was it in Brooklyn?
No. It wasn't in BK. Okay. Somebody was there. We was in Westchester.
Oh, okay.
Somebody was there. Somebody was there, and they had spoke about somebody doing a video. This is at the time when he had all that heat going on, and the dude and Black Rob, who held the flag down, he didn't even show up to his video shoot. Black Rob has consistently said, "Yo, this dude kind of just left me hanging." Shine said the same thing. Biggie was trying to get out of his deal.
What about the business partner? I forgot his name.
Kirk Burroughs. He done said what he said. At some point, I mean, I don't think Puff. Let me put it to you this way. It goes back to that conversation when I went into that rant and said, "Yo, these dudes are scumbags." Now, I'm not calling Puff a scumbag, but look at the industry, and this is why our culture has failed, and it all ties in. So give me like 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
You got people out here. When we talked about the Supreme Team and all that came out of jail, and because you didn't have talent and skills, you decided you was going to try to extort artists that had skills. But you ain't go extort Leo Cohen or Jimmy Iovine or none of those people that don't look like us that own things. But all day you showing up to somebody's door trying to extort them for those little peanuts.
Can I throw a word in there?
Please do.
You heard this word before that I think I said it like
no, go ahead.
a couple hundred times.
What's that?
Black capitalists.
Facts.
Go ahead.
Then you got kids that are getting signed to these artists, and this goes into the New York movement. We were around for this. And you got these artists that's getting signed, and you taking these kids, but you know these kids don't know nothing about no publishing. They do now because of the internet and everything, but back then these kids didn't know about publishing.
What did one of the Locks members said when they were going through their
That's another crew.
When they were going through their dispute and trying to get to the bottom of it, he said he pulled paperwork and found out that his publishing for songs was in Puff's son's name.
Facts.
So when you say, "Oh, I got the receipts," do you got those receipts too about how you were hiding publishing and family members' names so it doesn't trace back to you?
Facts.
I think that was Styles P who blew that up.
Yeah.
Or Jadakiss.
One of them.
How are they writing songs or a part of songs, and when they want to receive publishing, they find out it's in your kid's name?
That's dirty.
But you got receipts though.
Right.
You got receipts. I think, see, people are not going to want to hear this. Because we hear it sometimes in other industries, like with the drug game. Oh, well, if nobody sells, if somebody's going to sell to them, it might as well be us. Black capitalism. Now, going back to these executives, they're not all scumbags. But it seems like what you heard artists complaining about going all the way back to Sam Cooke and them, when Sam Cooke started his own publishing company, was trying to get other people to start their publishing company right before he was murdered.
Yeah, let's call that what it was.
Yeah,
thank you for saying it right.
Why did I go there with Sam Cooke? But going back to them when artists were getting jerked for their publishing, what were we crying about? Not getting proper compensation for our artistry and our intellectual property.
Right.
I hate to say this, but some of these black record execs looked at that and said, "Oh, that's how I get rich.
Facts.
I'm going to screw them over, but I'm going to have a smile on my face because I'm what? I look like them."
Right. And you.
And then I can hide behind, "Oh, I gave you your shot."
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. Shout out to Puff. He's a great from Mount Vernon. Mary J. Blige. We can go down a list of people he's responsible. Uptown. We can
Jodeci.
go. I'm not taking nothing away from what he's did for the culture. He's 1,000% an integral part of hip hop culture. And when we look back at this 20 or 30 years, he's going to be on Mount Rushmore for what he did. But does that exclude the business side that he got over on?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Like it don't make you see, and their thing is how can I put it? They dress it up as like, well, we didn't make you. Yeah, but you ain't tell us either. So it's kind of like you knew what could happen and you just sat back and just watched.
Hey, I knew you were writing a song for me. I didn't tell you to register it with BMI ASCAP. So when you submit the song to me, I'm going to put my son's name on the publishing.
That's crazy, son. That's crazy.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Let me talk about the bigger picture once again. If you look at a lot of those label heads and you start looking back, if you start looking at any paperwork, it's going to look bad. And I mean, I do you think there's a person right now, I'm probably gonna control for this. There's a song right now that I'm listening to. I ain't gonna say the artist name or nothing like that or label. And they got a hit record right now. They're not. I keep thinking about what Dame said. I can assure you they don't own that publishing of that song.
One's going through it right now. I can say the name.
You think
that's not probably to who you thinking, but it's a younger artist going on right now. So with a down south label with Yo Gotti. His artist is going through it. Shout out to Glorilla, dope artist. But she's going back and forth with the producer. But that's kind of different because it's not the label head, but it involves some of the same stuff you're talking about. But go ahead to what you were saying.
It just always seems like there's some type of bad business, and it's like you can't ask me to be loyal to you and you giving bad business. I remember Jim Jones' name came up a few times. I know it's something. With Jaja, she had talked about it. Like he's got to sign these labels because Max B talked about it too. He had to sign us all these album deals, and you talking about.
She said when she did Queen's Flip that he was trying to get her signed to Jones Production Company,
Yeah.
but she was smart enough to research that and not actually sign the deal.
Right. Yeah, and she told Yandy. She told Yandy, I don't want to sign this deal. This deal's like robbing you slavery. And it's not okay. For the people that's listening to this podcast, I don't care how popular that artist is. If they're trying to get you, that means there's something wrong with them in their business. Get away from them. Get away from them. I don't care who it is. Get away from them. Don't let them take your publishing.
But it's just like what I said to you, because we talked about this before we go into the last part, because I got a little audible. Mm-hmm. Artists, understand it can happen quick. You can be on the block with one song, which we saw, especially in New York, and somebody could say, hey, let me introduce you to such and such. I want you artists to start doing this as a practice. I understand you want to introduce me to such and such, but can I scrape up a few dollars to get my own independent lawyer? If you believe in me, like you say you believe in me, you saying, oh, I'm so dope, you want to send me to this record label or this Dr. Dre, whoever. Yo, dude, since you believe in me, hey, let me hold $500. Let me hold $1,000. Let's go to this lawyer.
Get it right.
And I want him to sit in on this conversation. Because if you notice, every time one of these artists get brought to one of these producers or one of these label heads, they never have an independent entertainment lawyer.
Nope.
For that 1 hour conversation. And they always get screwed. So artists, if you are independent, signed or whatever, start getting into practice when people talking about they're going to introduce you to somebody. Either meet up with your family or the person talking to you say, hey, if you believe in me that much, then we need to go half on the entertainment lawyer before I sit in front of this person's face.
To go in, and I'm a big fan of before you do your Audible, I saw a video today of an interview with 50 Cent. He was talking about a lot of things. He didn't talk anything about G-Unit, but what I admired and respected about him when he did, now I don't know what went down with Young Buck, I don't, but I keep hearing certain artists feel a certain way. Anybody that's complaining, I'm looking at their situation, I'm like, how did it get better when you left them? And he didn't blackball you. He didn't take any of your publishing. Where were you at before him? Even in some of it's let me go here. Like Yayo, I said it best. He said, yo, and I love this for him. And I'm not going to say why I felt the way I felt because it'll expose another artist. He said, yo, when we was getting in all those situations, he said 50 put us over there in Battery Park. So certain cats couldn't get in there.
You know you can't go there.
You can't go there acting up.
I'm in a condo with security at the door. You even if you come out in front of it, somebody's gonna get you up out of there.
Yeah. So my whole thing is, Jay and them ain't doing that for their artists. You get what I'm saying? And that's not a shot at Jay. I'm just telling you from what Yayo said in the interview. My whole thing is with 50, and I hear Game, and I don't even want to get into his bipolar, naive, ignorant comments that he makes. You sitting up there saying, oh, yeah, I'm gonna roll with him, and then when I get big, I'm gonna leave. Well, you left, and you were crying about not being invited to the Super Bowl. So didn't really work out for you, did it?
Nah.
Mind you, wherever you thought you were going to a bigger place, let me ask you something with him. What is he? See, this is the thing about. That's why we don't entertain a lot of stuff we've been hearing and seeing on the websites on this podcast. A lot of people that are starting the drama. What if they produce? It kind of goes what Dame says. If you're doing what you're saying you're doing, you don't even have time to do some stupidity like that. All he does is sit back and cry. I'm just making an example. It says, I'm mad about I was invited to the Super Bowl. But look at all the rifts you caused. You caused multiple rifts. And when I look down your line, what have you done? I don't know one artist from Black Wall Street. I know a few of them.
My song was over there at one point.
Yeah, okay. How'd that work out? I think I heard a song. A song. I haven't heard anything else. You can tell me about everybody you got a problem with and why you have a problem with them, but I don't know about any other artist that done came out there.
Shout out to JT, the bigger figure who's responsible.
Facts.
Shout out to JT, the bigger figure who's responsible.
Facts.
I'm gonna say it a third time. Shout out to JT, the bigger figure who's really responsible for putting you on.
Facts.
Go ahead.
It just seems like. Like when 50, they said, well, 50 caused a lot of trouble. Well, I know this for a fact. Banks, Yayo, Young Buck, G-Unit albums. I mean, he helped his artists a lot, and he was an artist. And he helped Game, no matter how much Game. And we all know Game's a liar because he said he wrote What Up Gangsta. Come on, son. Nobody. It's no wonder they don't want you at the Super Bowl. And
that's easy researchable. They dropped the reference track like somebody found a reference track immediately. Why would you lie about that?
You're a grown ass man,
40 something.
And I just don't understand why these guys are doing it. But the point, the old major overall point is that it's only us doing that. I mean, it's just the ignorance and stupidity. And the fact is that somebody is just like, again, somebody needs to go talk to him. Like, yo, you can't be doing that, man. You got to stop wilding out.
Well, let's bring it back because I don't want to make it seem like we're all over the place. Cause
I know.
We did run into Enveonline,
yeah.
But this segment we were focusing on, the receipts and, if he has them, he has them. But
yeah,
you don't have all of them.
Yeah,
you're not gonna get me to believe that every single act that spoke up just didn't know the business well enough, and you knew it better than them.
Yeah,
I believe Styles P or Jadakiss when he said they looked for their publishing and it was in your child's name.
That's crazy.
Then when Mase got on TikTok, and I didn't like the way he did it, but he felt like that's the way he needed to speak to him, where he said, you want receipts? Ask your mother. He said, ask your mother. Basically what he was saying was, yeah, you're putting stuff in your mother's name too. So if people come to try to audit and look at you, it's probably hidden behind an account that your mother owns. So again, you want receipts, you probably got a few of them, you don't got all of them.